dynasty in the WNBA. The Houston Comets have won their third straight championship.
Missed the shot from three-point range straight away. Myers gets it up to Leslie. What's she going to do? She does it! For the first time in WNBA history, someone has done it!
Orchestrator, perhaps, of the biggest turnaround in professional sports history. From worst to...
It's real! It's real!
You know, winning never gets old, but when you do it with a group, it never gets old.
Gets it to Bull. Will get it off. The shot is good. Game 3 belongs to Fireball. WNBA champion.
On April 24th, 1996, NBA Commissioner David Stern announced the launch of a new women's basketball league, amidst the United States' historic 16-0 run to a gold medal in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. A roster backed by USC standout Lisa Leslie, dynamic scoring wing Sheryl Swoopes, in addition to the likes of floor general guard Dawn Staley, seasoned veteran Katrina McClain, and the sharpshooting Ruthie Bolton, this group displayed sheer dominance on the hardwoods, winning by an average margin of 45.2 points. They also inspired the next generation of hoopers in the States, and began its run of 7 straight gold medals that remains intact to this day. Two-time champion and WNBA superstar Candace Parker had this to say about the impact of the 1996 Olympic team. "I was on my couch and heard they were starting this new league, and I remember thinking how excited I was. I no longer had to pretend to play in the NBA. I could pretend to play in the WNBA." Ahead of the WNBA's inaugural season, the league launched the We Got Next campaign to build steam for the league and flip the switch on a typical one-liner previously associated with just the guys. It started 3 of the aforementioned Sheryl Swoopes, Lisa Leslie, and Dawn Staley, 3 key members of the 96 Olympic team. Following the league's inception, the early years of the WNBA were dominated by the Houston Comets and its big 3 of Cynthia Cooper, Sheryl Swoopes, and Tina Thompson, who blew through the league en route to 4 straight championships. They were conducted by head coach Van Chancellor, a promoter of the continuity offense which primarily utilizes the high post and wing areas for offensive initiation. Houston also used a side pick and roll with Cooper as the ball handler and Thompson as a screener, an unstoppable play between 2 of the best in league history. Cooper was ahead of his time with the basis of his offensive philosophy. He mixed in more old school sets along with the pick and roll, a key focus of modern offenses today.
Throws it away. Good read anticipation there by Sue Bird. She looks to push it up the floor.
Coincidentally enough, Jennifer Rosati, one of the Comets' backup guards during his title run, is now the president of the Connecticut Sun. She manages a team with a ball screen heavy offense under head coach Kurt Miller that runs out 2 to 3 big lineups, led by Jonquel Jones. You can look at many other moments that help put the league on the map, whether it's Lisa Leslie's dunk, Detroit's path from worst to first, or later what was known as the Candace Parker draft in 2008.
With the first pick in the 2008 WNBA draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Candace Parker from the University of Tennessee.
Furthermore, Parker became the first and only player in W history to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Her stellar two-way play paved the way for positionless basketball in the league. It's a different story because she is so rare, with the size, vision, IQ, a .4 with a smoothness the league had never seen, a unicorn. That comes from WNBA analyst LaChina Robinson. Since then, we've seen Maya Moore, Elena Deladon, Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, and plenty more post-sized players transcend the league in popularity in modern on-court tactics, as teams adapt to the value of added versatility. To start with Moore, the UConn product and #1 overall selection in the 2011 draft had the size of a wing and physicality to bang down low with traditional bigs in the post. During the height of her prime, Moore took home the 2014 MVP award with averages of 23.9 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 3.4 assists on stellar efficiency. Followed by Elena Deladon, a member of the 2014 draft, who became a deadly 6'5" shooter immediately after entering the league. What truly sets Deladon apart from other high-usage stars is her supreme efficiency from anywhere and everywhere on the court. She's the only player in WNBA history to shoot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the line of the season. Her 97% clip from the foul line is also a league record among qualified players. Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson had the new age post player, as closeout drawers from the mid-range and 3, rangy defenders with the ability to act as a free safety on one end, and strong, crafty-like tight end finishers on the other. Post-sized players have always led the W, but that doesn't mean we haven't seen an evolution over the past decade or so. As seen in this graph, the league as a whole began to steadily evolve in terms of three-point shooting volume following the 2014 season. However, there's one team that's well ahead of its time, the 2009 Phoenix Mercury. The Mercury were coached by Corey Gaines, an NBA journeyman and former guard who played for many teams across the state and in Europe. Gaines learned under Paul Westhead and Mike D'Antoni, two pioneers of the 7 seconds or less offense. Gaines was the starter for Westhead's dominant Loyola Marymount team in the 1987 to 1988 season. It averaged a D1 high 110.2 points per game and rolled through the West Coast Conference with an undefeated record. Gaines also played for the Nuggets under Westhead and later joined his Mercury staff in 2006 before taking over the head coaching duties a year later. The philosophy behind this frantic, up-tempo style of play is to wear down the defense and have as many offensive opportunities as possible. This requires having 3 to 4 high-field players capable of handling the rock at all times. The Mercury did just that, as it ranked first in the league in pace, first in scoring, fourth in three-point attempts, fourth in three-point attempts, and first in assists. Diana Taurasi is the perfect scoring guard to orchestrate this offense. Her combination of size, change of pace, craftiness, and deep shooting ability make it extremely tough to stop for any defense in the league. Joining Taurasi in the backcourt was Tamika Johnson, a more traditional point guard at 5'3", as well as Cappie Pondexter, a high-volume, deadly two-way threat who did the dirty work for Phoenix. Pondexter had this to say about Gaines' up-tempo offense in a 2006 interview with Sports Illustrated. "He wants us to go 110 miles an hour, all the time. His style is fun to play and exciting to watch." The Mercury still use a variety of old-school sets, but instead used handoffs or back screens to flow into post-ups for star rookie DeWanna Bonner or one of its other rotational bigs, such as Tangela Smith, who was a 45% marksman from deep in the 2009 season. We're seeing more and more teams incorporate these philosophies into their playbooks, such as the Las Vegas Aces, Indiana Fever, and Los Angeles Sparks. Of that group, the 2022 Las Vegas Aces, coached by Becky Hammon, have the most similarities to what the Mercury ran under Gaines a decade or so prior. Just see this possession. The Aces went 5 out to maximize spacing and spread the floor. Kelsey Plum rejects the side ball screen, attacks baseline, drawing in the defense before finding a kick-out shooter in the opposite corner. Now here's J.R. Cahamby forcing a turnover on one end, then immediately sprinting to the middle of the court for a transition layup on the other. The previously mentioned A'ja Wilson also does a bunch of valuable things as a 6'4" post. This montage speaks for itself. The WNBA is going through a transition of stars as legends Sue Bird and Sylvia Fowles in retirement. Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker are also nearing the twilights of their careers, so there's no better time to look at the top 25 players in the league with 3 or fewer years of service time. Note, this ranking is broken up into tiers and more looking towards the future and generally who I prefer to have on my team, combining my team building philosophy and the current state of the league. Beginning with the first tier, cornerstone players, aka potential number 1 options on a playoff team, and top 2 options on a title contender. You can also look at these 2 players as perennial All-WNBA caliber players in their prime. In a way, Ionescu was similar to Taurasi with her pace-based approach, high volume shooting, and size. I'll turn to Spencer Nosbaum with the next to give a short pitch on Howard's two-way value for the now and the future.
Perhaps no player better exemplifies what the future of the WNBA will look like, better than Rhyne Howard of the Atlanta Dream. In her first full season in the WNBA, we've seen Rhyne Howard dominate on and off the ball offensively, and has shown positionless versatility as a defender, something that the Dream are excited to have for the future. When we think about the future of the WNBA, we think about players who can fill any role at a moment's notice, and that's exactly what Rhyne Howard does. She's someone who can play big, she can play small, she can play virtually any role that the Dream want her to fit in. Given her flexibility and motor, Rhyne Howard is the perfect fit as either the primary or secondary star on a future WNBA championship contender.
Next up are high-end starters. These players have the potential to be multi-time All-Stars, but don't bring enough on-ball juice and high-usage roles to fit the first category. Atop this list is the Fever's NaLyssa Smith.
NaLyssa Smith is an absolutely top-notch prospect for me due to versatility. I think often we hear or throw around the word versatility and it has not a negative connotation, but I think you get the implication that there's a player who is good at quite a few things or above average, but maybe not great at anything. I think that's the opposite with NaLyssa. NaLyssa to me has versatility because she's great at scoring and brings a ton of versatility in the way she can do it. She can do things on the short roll. She has enough fluidity and handle, or more than enough handle and fluidity to her size to really attack out of ISO and face up. I think for me, it's more of a when rather than if of her winning scoring titles, and a lot's just going to depend on how her defense and other aspects of her game comes along.
Another key player is stellar rookie defender and Mystics center Shakira Austin.
Shakira Austin is a great player already. As a rookie, she has all the defensive chops that they talked about at the draft. She has gone up against some of the best bigs in the league and has been able to hold her own and shut them down defensively. She's a quick study. She learns very quickly and has been incredible. Her offense has gotten better as the season has gone on. Her footwork has gotten better. It's especially impressive that since Coach Tebow doesn't give her plays, that she's able to find and create her offense for herself.
That leads us to some of the league's most valuable role player archetypes. Veronica Burton and Ari McDonald are feisty defenders at the point of attack. Dejanay Carrington and Emily Angsler are do-it-all wings. Dana Evans and Ileana Rupert bring offensive firepower in their different ways. The same goes for Queen Egbo, a stout rim protector. Then these are interesting players that could fill a valuable bench role in the league, but in one way or another, has some major limitations on either end. Lastly, I'm remaining optimistic for these players, but it's too early to place them into a singular category, whether that's due to injury, playing time, or both. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't give shouts to the great Ari Chambers, the founder of How Let Her, and the originator of the phrase "the WNBA is so important." Her goal is to continue inspiring the younger generation of boys and girls, specifically those of minority groups. The WNBA is the most diverse American sports league according to multiple studies. Roughly 75% of its employees are black, from the players to the coaching staff, as well as higher front office positions. Additionally, we're seeing a trend of former WNBA players becoming coaches, with 6 of the current 12 current coaches being previously played in the W, the others being all men and Sheryl Reeves, a veteran mind in the industry.